Hello there, and welcome to the Impact Zone podcast. We are back to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans, and we're talking about the contractual status of the Motor City Machine Guns here today. And it's been reported that the Motor City Machine Guns contracts are up soon. At least within the month of March, so before April, which is surprising to me. I feel like, we don't talk too much about contractual situations too much. Sort of really, I guess we need to, though, because it's one of those things that does happen. Look, these guys, they're amazing. And what else is there from left to really do, So it would be a loss, certainly, if they left. But I don't honestly feel like they're leaving, really. I feel like they could go into the Hall of Fame easily this year, very easily. Like I said, I think that both these guys have kind of achieved everything that they could achieve anywhere and everywhere. This last couple of years has been some of their best work, honestly. It's crazy for me to think that they're leaving before April. That doesn't sound right to me. Even if they sign short-term contracts or something, I feel like some sort of handshake agreement of some sort. I feel like they're gonna stick around. For a little while at least. Though I could see them leaving this year, perhaps, potentially, and sort of potentially hanging up the boots. I don't know, potentially at least. So, I don't want to see them go, but, at the end of the day, that's the way of it. You just have to, realize that you're not going to see these guys forever, and you've got to cherish and, appreciate the time that you do get to see them, and whatnot. So, it's just another reminder for us to all take that little step back and, get our opinions out of the way sometimes of, some of this stuff, would they be better in WWE or whatever? Yeah, it's tough to say that they wouldn't be able to do something in WWE, but I feel like, same with AEW, it's not like it's impossible. Actually, they did have a match there, I believe. Pretty decent match over there from what I heard. Didn't see it myself. But yeah, they could, and never say never, but you look at what they've done. You look at the landscape of WWE and AEW, if they went there, how would they fit in? There's so many tag teams in WWE and AEW. Yes, having a deep roster is good at times, but there is such a thing as just too much. And I just don't think that they could realistically, do anything of note. They could help new young stars, perhaps, but that's more of a trainer role. They could be out there, but then they feel like they're kind of just jobbing to everyone, mostly, I guess. And it's well, what makes them special or what makes them unique? I would love to see, one more match of them and the Young Bucks. That's the one match that I feel like I think they're looking to, kind of pull the retirement on, is a match with them. And I'd love to see that at a Slammiversary or something, or Bound for Glory or something. Like still, like it, again, like you talk about them going into the Hall of Fame one day because they definitely deserve it. Well, they could pull up the boots this year and get in the Hall of Fame next year. Like, I don't think that that's too far fetched. But I do think like they know this. They know that their careers are sort of coming to that apex, coming to that end and whatnot, and they've been sort of doing stuff to sort of you know end off things and look, both of these guys are still in great shape and can still go, but you've still got to think about like, well, like what more can we do? Like we like really can't do anything. We've done everything, So like at that point, you're starting to say, well, is it time to think about our swan song, and how do we end it? How do we not just be you know, old guys on the roster who are clogging it up and holding back young, fresh talent? How do we, not do the same thing that happened to us, kind of thing, or whatever, or that we've seen happen and that sort of thing? But how do we still remain important, and how do we still remain relevant, and how do we, keep in there? Like it's everything to it's everything to these guys. I think like that's how it has to be with guys who do this 6-7 days a week or whatever it is. It's everything to you, like, and I'm sure that they've made a lot of money in wrestling and whatnot, and I'm sure that they could have comfortable retirements, like, so like, and I know they love it, but still, like, you got to think about it. Like, but then again, like I just said, as I said before, I honestly don't see them like completely leaving just yet. I don't know. Like, it's very tough for me to kind of like think about the company without them because they're so integral to like the framework of it, or have been. But then again, you just say, well, that's what you have to do. Like, you have to move on and make new stars all the time, and they're doing that, slowly and whatnot, but still they are doing it. Yeah, but I do think that sometimes all these things that come out about their contracts are up, blah, 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 all this thing, it creates speculation and whatnot. A lot of the time, like, nothing happens. Like, they just re-sign, and that's it. Like, Moose re-signed, Josh Alexander re-signed, Jordan Grace re-signed. So many people re-signed and stayed, like again, like I was saying, maybe they'll just sign a slight extension or whatever. Maybe they'll even stay on for for another year or two. Who knows? I don't know. But it just doesn't. It doesn't seem to me like they want to go anywhere. I think the opportunities that they've been given in TNA have been great. Perhaps like the biggest stumbling block will be the Anthem side of things, whether they want to keep them under contract or want to re-sign them and all of that stuff. So again, we've kind of got to get back to whether they will re-sign them or do this sort of stuff. But like at the end of the day, if they don't, like I said, I don't feel like it's the worst thing in the world ever. And like they already let, I think, Bully Ray go off of his contract. So there's another, few, monies there, and a few other people like Oleg and whatnot that were, I think, let go from whatever deal that they had. So again, like there's still some money left in the tank that Anthem could work with from some of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's always tough to say because again, never say never. But like what would be the point of going somewhere else besides maybe New Japan? And they could go to New Japan at any time that they really wanted, if they really, really wanted. Um, I really don't see it. Like, honestly, like, perhaps, yes, as I said, the Anthem guys will, I don't know, I don't think they'd, like, lowball them, but maybe they will. I don't know, but maybe they'll just say, "Hey, we're not really interested in picking up your guys' contracts, because we want to focus on putting as much money back into our coffers as possible." So as I say, it's not the biggest loss. Like, if they lost guys like Chris Bay or Ace Austin or Josh Alexander, or guys that are like the future or the present and the future of the company, then that's where I'd start questioning like the decision making and whatnot. And if they can't hire new people and that sort of thing, then that's where I start, going, well, you can't just keep the roster the same. You've got to grow it, incrementally, and you've got to make strategic purchases. Yes, you've got to make strategic cuts as well, but you can't just say, "Oh, well, let's cut everything from this and let's cross our fingers and hope they can work with effectively nothing," or let's lowball everyone and lose everything or almost lose everything just to the fact that we want to be cheap as possible. So that's where I'm at with that. They need to realize, the old business adage, the only way to make money is to spend money. So I would love it if they picked back up the Motor City Machine Guns contract, even if it's for a couple of months or whatever it is, or if it's for a Legends deal of some sort. I don't think anyone would complain. But those are the difficulties sometimes in business. Like, I get what they're trying to do, again, in the sense of, well, we've got to, make as much profit as what we can because that's business. But the only way you really actually make the most money in wrestling is by having, a decent outflow as well. Yes, I know TNA has a lot, or had a lot of debt. I don't know how much debt they have anymore. But the thing is that they're not paying off that debt, or at least their Anthem's not paying off that debt. They're just taking whatever profits that TNA is making and saying, "Oh, well, we'll just, keep holding you to making profits rather than you paying off your debt. So you'll just never pay off your debt to us. But you've probably already paid it off, but we're just going to keep holding that little thing over your head that we say, oh, you've got this much debt." Well, no, we really don't, because we've already made, all of that money back for you, but you just took it as profit. You didn't take it off of our actual debt. So that's a little bit of a shitty thing to do, honestly, in a lot of ways. But again, that's business. They only really care about making the profits and making it kind of, line each other's pockets and whatnot. They don't really care about, like, if somebody's in debt to them, they'll keep them in debt to them so that they can hold on to those assets as much as possible, for as long as possible, or, that sort of thing. And in one way you can understand, but honestly, in many ways, it's a really, like, it's just, kicking you while you're down type deal, I think. And it's a shitty sort of tactic, in many ways to do. And that, again, there's many reasons why I continue to think that Anthem and the guys running it aren't the best, for the fans and for the health and well-being of TNA, overall. And, again, like, it's not like I said that this would be the worst thing ever if they did leave and didn't have some sort of agreement to, like, finish up at some point or somehow get a last off kickoff match of some sort. But, you know, like, again, if it was other people that were more integral to the present and the future, yes, I'd be much more worried. But again, we could just as easily see these guys turning back up in April, June, July, August, and through the rest of the year. Like, so a lot of people do make mountains out of molehills. Like, you do have to consider it. Like, I've been trying to consider it and weigh both sides of the fence to some extent. But realistically, like, honestly, it's just one of those things that could just pass us by, and it just be like, oh well, that was a thing for 5 minutes. Like I say, it's probably nothing, and we'll wait and see how it goes. I do hope they stay. As I said, I would like to see them stay at least until they have some sort of big blow off end of their sort of careers or something, either at Slammiversary or Bound for Glory at some point. But yeah, if which is a big if this is the end of the road, no, I'll be appreciative and just try and enjoy the memories that they did make for these last few years in the company, and that's what we all have to try to do with what happens when somebody leaves. But yeah, hopefully we will continue to see them. But anyway, guys, hope you have enjoyed this one and hope you will join me again in another one.